Funsie. We are back, and we're on time for the first time in decades.
They don't know that though.
No, I mean like normally we've been oh wait, have we been recording on Tuesdays? I don't know. Either way, I feel like we've been getting later episodes of the week when we're supposed to do it early in the week. But
our recording time has changed throughout the entire history of this show, though. Like, there was a portion of time that we were recording at, like, 10 p.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're back, though, to early Monday morning recordings, which is cool because we can do that now because you guys are all full-time. When we started Funsie, both of you were not full-time, which is why we couldn't stick with the Monday morning pod. So we are back in action.
Perfect. Sweet.
We're in it.
Well, let's get it.
Ben.
Yes, sir.
I didn't get to watch anything from the tournament this week. Not that we're the tournament podcast, but since we are on the splitting edge, since we're recording on a Monday, people talk about it being the most difficult course ever. I mean, I watched a practice round about it. How did it feel being out there? And, I mean, you had the best front row seat, probably, arguably, of anyone.
Yeah, as in terms of the hardest course, like last round, I think only 4 people shot under par on the Disc Golf Pro Tour for MPO at least.
Was it windy there as well?
It was windier the final round, which is probably why, because a lot of people went over the top when it wasn't windy because there's literally no lines. There's a few holes where there's no lines, and it's very just what are we doing here? But with that being said, the track is incredible. I think it's gonna be turned into something insane. It's beautiful, all the cypress trees, and it just needs some clean up.
Have they talked about tweaks? Like, I'm sure Gannon had a lot of opinions of what Gannon should happen.
Yeah, Gannon had a ton of opinions. Yeah, they've talked about tweaks, and they're gonna revisit it. But honestly, I will say, one, I'm kind of okay with it, the first year just being like a rough draft, just so people can play and see okay, this one needs to be improved. Because once trees are down, they're down forever.
They don't go back.
I don't mind it just being just impossible at first if they then do it where where it's fair and hard. And I think there's a difference between this type of hard and then fair and hard. But I will say the way it finished, the course, it was there was no better finishing a hole in disc golf to be down one by talking about Gannon, and just the excitement for the last 4 holes was just insane, and truly didn't know who was going to win or where it was going to go. So I will say that the course did deliver on some drama where it was just wow, how's this happening?
Yeah, I have a few opinions. My first question though is, how was the spectator experience? Did it seem like they were able to follow well and kind of see what was going on? Yeah.
The fairways were super big, so
yeah.
There's only go ahead.
No. Say your thing first.
I was just gonna say there's only 2 holes where they couldn't really come behind us. Other than that, the fairways were, and then there's a lot of place to be on the side of the fairway too, if that makes sense. So you could do both. That's why it was very accommodating. It was just massive. It's a massive course.
From watching, my opinion is once they kind of clear it up and get reps on it and kind of get things situated, I think it's gonna be the new Champions Cup, the old course that got that
WR Jackson.
WR Jackson. It was the same, at least to me, it was the same vibes as WR Jackson once it's kind of beat in and set and okay, maybe remove this tree or push this or pull this basket in or whatever. Because it just seemed it was just beautiful. The grass, the big trees. How far from downtown New Orleans was it?
It's like 25, 30 minutes. It's
I mean,
very close.
That's nothing.
like that's
Yeah.
literally nothing. So like, to me, honestly, seems like a pretty destination friendly
Absolutely, yeah.
pro tour event. You know, people make a weekend out of it, go stay in New Orleans. Once the course is kind of set up a little bit more fun to watch, you know, like where people can kind of score, then I think it's really going to be set up to be one of the destination pro tour events, you know, because I feel like people always talk about being close to something, spectator friendly course, and then just like a fun to watch course. And I think it already has two of those. I just think that once they kind of figure out the like proper layout for people to be challenged but still be able to score and enjoy themselves out there, like I feel like when the pros are enjoying themselves, it's much easier for spectators to enjoy themselves. I think it's going to be one of the hotter pro tour events to make it out to, especially with some of the spectacle they tried to put on outside of the event, right? With the crawfish boil and some of the other things they were doing as well. Were you involved with any of that? Was that fun?
No, I showed up literally the morning of the first round, so I was not around for that. But I
Okay.
did have crawfish Friday afternoon after the round,
Fire.
and I think I'm allergic. My lip like inflamed.
Oh gosh.
Yikes.
Yikers. Yeah.
I don't know if it was a crawfish or something in it, but the good thing is it was only my bottom lip inflamed. So if that's the risk, if that's the only effect, then like whatever,
Yeah.
like
Tough it
crawfish
out.
me up,
Everyone's like, why is this dude pouting? Just the lower lip is just
dude.
pushing out.
Yeah, I have a video of it. I've been like recording just like randomly, just like stuff because I'm trying to do short form now. So I'll probably like add that somewhere along the line of me of my
awesome.
lip. But yeah,
Did you do a Gannon video? Or y'all are done with recaps, right?
yeah, no more recaps. But yeah, I'm heading to Alabama this week so we can start filming long form videos. But yeah, this weekend, it was since I got there Friday, we just kind of just focused on the tournament, and it worked out.
Well, he won.
Exactly. So
Dang.
Spoilers.
yeah.
Did he do the longest hole on tour video again, or not for this one?
No, yeah, that's the other thing. He was just like, I'm not doing it on this course, so that's why nothing happened. It was just like, it was not a content week for him. He was just locked in.
It paid
I love
off.
it. Yeah,
Exactly.
this course seems like it has the highest potential, or one of the highest potentials anyway, of any of the properties that we have so far in disc golf. Like being the time of year where people can come down on vacation if they choose to from places that still have snow.
Yeah.
It's essentially it's a spot that people aren't even supposed to be walking on right now, correct? Like I think the local area drained out that swamp to
Yeah, it's an old swamp. That's why the trees are all like that, like
Yeah,
where
so
it's
it's-
like the root
there's-
system.
there's nothing else that looks like that. Boom, there's another piece to it that I think will draw some people in.
Yeah.
And just the nightlife that goes on there, the local culture. It's hard to keep people away, I would imagine, as we move forward.
We definitely
Yeah.
should have we should have tried to get Silas Schultz to come on, because I was talking to him a little bit about this course, because he walked it with John Hauk when Hauk was designing it, and we were talking a little bit about it, and he was like, part of the reason Hauk made it so hard is because on the old course Silas shot like a 14 down with a bogey in a tournament. And so when Hauk was walking the course with Silas, kind of designing stuff, every time he'd design a hole, he'd look at Silas and be like, no 14 downs, right? Like, no 14 downs. Because
Yeah.
he just didn't want it to be an easy course. And Silas was like, when we finished, I was like he knew it was going to be the hardest course on tour, when we were talking at Disc South. But he was also talking about how, like, Jefferson Parish, which is where it's located, like, I think they put millions of dollars into the property because
Yeah,
they did, like,
spent a lot.
they drained the swamp,
That
and then
that right there costs a ton of money just draining a swamp.
and then they put, I think he said 80 acres of grass
That's also what I heard.
into
which is
it.
an egregious number.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. And then baskets were just put in like last week or something.
Yeah, it's
just
very
for the pro
last
tour
minute.
because they wanted the grass in there. And something Silas was also talking about was like, with this course, if there's no grass, it's a much better course because you get skips. Because of the grass, like a good shot lands 40 feet short because like it just stops in the grass. So I don't know. I think they'll adjust and figure things out. I mean, especially if this course is open to the public, the grass is just not going to stay unless they're like, I don't know, absolutely cooking with the groundskeeping and whatever. I don't know.
You don't
It's
think
just
so? Being like a,
I mean, they
used to be a
did.
swamp. There's probably a lot of really good nutrients in the soil. As
That's
dweeby
true.
as that sounds, I feel like
That's true.
It'll stay around.
That's true. I don't know. I just feel like
They planted the grass like a week ago too, or something like that. So
yeah. I don't know, man. I think it's possible. I guess if there were to be grass to stick around on fairways, this seems like the place it would be because of the swamp. I feel like if they have people taking care of the course consistently, yes, it'll stick around. But like, unfortunately, disc golfers can be a little bit crazy sometimes. So
Yeah, RIP every tee sign on your local course at some point.
defacing happens.
Can we talk a little bit about stuff that was going on down the stretch yesterday? Because I
Yeah.
saw people in the group chat talking about it, but I wasn't watching it at the time. I just got like bits and pieces of what they were talking about. So Ben, can you elaborate on the things that were happening?
Yeah, what do you want to know specifically? I can.
Well, the big
just
one
go
that
on.
everyone was talking about was Ricky's lie, and then just other things coming down the stretch, I guess. I mean, that's as much as I feel like I took away from the conversation, but what did you see out there?
So the Rick sticks.
Is that what they're calling it?
I don't know. I just came up with that. Yeah. So we instantly, when Ricky was picking up the sticks, we instantly let Jeff know and talked it out, and we're like, that was 100% in front of his lie. But we also didn't know if the sticks incented to his lie, if that makes sense. So it was more just more like, hey, like, he's not supposed to do that, I don't think. And Jeff was the marshal, Jeff Spring. And by the time we could say anything, the sticks were removed. So, and then that was Jeff's answer, like, yeah, like, I'm not sure if it extended into his lie. So we weren't sure. That's the whole thing. So it's not like that. When people ask, like, why do the players not call? It's because like Ricky could have 100% been like, those six could 100% been in his lie, or not his lie. We just couldn't tell because they're moved already. It just looked weird because he was going in front of the disc, moving the six, and then through a forehand, like kind of like where those six were. So that's how it went down. And I will say, I don't think. Well, I know for a fact. I know for a fact Ricky didn't do that to maliciously cheat or anything like that. Like, that's not the type of guy Rick
Totally.
is. So it was just more so. I think he was just a branch, probably from the stuff, from what it looks like on coverage. At least one of them was in his lie. Again, in his whole argument was like, you have to move that one stick. You can't move all this group of sticks together that were in front. So he moved like all of them, the ones that weren't even in his lie. So, but yeah, he didn't do that to malicious cheat at all. I think it's like the craziest thing to watch Rick like be in the zone. Like, it's like any 70-footer he's making. Like, and that's what happened. We would step up to his lodge just to see, like, how far above it. We're like, yeah, he's making that. So I think he was just so in the zone, just so locked in. Like, I think he gets more locked in than any human being, like, on this earth. Like, it's like a cool sight to see, just how just dialed he is. And I think that's just what happened. I don't think he did it to maliciously cheat or with any ill intent. It was just like, the sticks for his lie. He was like so focused on the shot, he moved the sticks, and so in the end, like, not a big deal. Jeff, shout out Jeff. He addressed it. I think he did a great job of like just being like, hey, we saw this, and then just letting it up to the players, and and that's why Gannon said, I trust you, Rick, because we couldn't really tell. Like it looked like it was in front, but all of those sticks could have extended into his lie.
That would have been a 2-stroke penalty, or what would it have been?
I don't know exactly what it would have been. I imagine it would have been a stroke penalty, but I don't know exactly what it was, but I don't know.
I mean, with how tight it was down the stretch, that would have been crazy.
But that also would have been like the most lame way for it to get decided.
For sure.
I don't think either player or anyone wants it to come down to that. It's just
exactly.
And I wasn't asking the question as the like, we got him, folks.
No, I know. I just wanted to. That was my statement, my Caddy statement, because everyone's gonna like wonder, or everyone is wondering. That was my statement. Like, I'm good friends with Rick, and like,
right.
Yeah, he was just dialed. That's all I'll say. Yeah.
Well, I was apparently, like, so one of the boys were working the shop yesterday, and there were a good number of people that were in there for this event like the entire weekend, which is super cool to see. That, and it's getting nicer out. I mean, I went in on Saturday to go grab the camera and some equipment, and there were like 30 people in there just having a beer and watching this tournament, which is cool, especially it being like a new event. But apparently people at the time saw what was going on, and they were like, what's he doing? So I don't know how this feels in terms of public perception, or if it is something that's getting blown out of proportion. Time will tell. I know I saw Jefferson
it's on
Disc Golf World just posting something about like, is this considered cheating? So we'll see like what opinions as they come out through the week.
I feel like it would have been a bigger deal if he won, but he didn't win.
Great point.
So it really doesn't matter.
Great point.
At the end of the day, Gannon took it down, and no one was really super close to Rick at the end, right? Like, it was kind of just
the two of them that pulled away.
Yeah, and so ball don't lie, maybe, one of those situations.
That's what everyone's saying. Ball don't lie.
Yeah. So I haven't seen the stick situation. I saw was Gannon's putt on 17. Was there anything that was kind of crazy that happened in the last 4 holes? I saw Ricky bogeyed the playoff hole. How did the playoff hole kind of go down, Ben?
Well, so 16 was the stick situation, and then Gannon was down.
He was down one, right?
After that, yeah. Because Rick bogeyed there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so down 1, going to 17. Gannon, super short. Ricky, circle's edge. So, that's kind of the situation on 17. It's like, going into 18, like, Ricky could double bogey, and Gannon could, like, par, but it's or vice versa, birdie, bogey, but it's realistically not happened. Like, that hole was so hard. It was basically like
it was a par 5.
Yeah, par 5. I'll focus on 17. Sorry. So yeah, we knew we needed to hit that basically, and I had a feeling he was gonna make it. It was just one of those things because Rick was making but he needed to, and I was like, Gannon's got this, and it was like
a 90-footer. How far was it?
Oh, dude, it was so far. It was electric.
That was a full flight. It
was, especially for Gannon, who can get it there and like on one angle and just one pop of the wrist. But yeah, full flight, nailed it. Basically needed it. That was to not lose another stroke to Rick, to go down two back on 18. Then we get to 18. Still back 1, but I told Gannon, I literally said, like, I can't think of a better hole to be down 1 on, because it's just that kind of bogus, for lack of better words, because it's just like you can get in a perfect land zone and have nothing. So Gannon threw a shot, not great, but Rick didn't throw a great shot either. And then they both laid up into pretty good positions. And then Gannon, Rick went and kicked off way left into the woods. We're like, oh my goodness, like this is our shot, because he had nothing. He literally had nothing in there. But he's Ricky Wysocki, the best scrambler.
Dude, literally the goated
world.
scrambler.
Yeah, and then Gannon goes over the top, after contemplating like forehand or backhand. So it was so he went over the top, stalled it, parked it, basically 20 feet, and then Rick, we're like, oh my goodness. But then Rick throws, an insane shot, a super cutoff angle, gets it to like, I don't know, like 50, 60 feet. And again, when he has to make it to go to a playoff. If he misses it, again, most likely wins. And we stepped up to it behind his line. It's like, there's no way he's not making this. And lo and behold, he nails it and then puts the pressure on Gannon. Gannon makes a good 20-footer. And then we go to the playoff. So the playoff, it was just hole one. So Rick throws a drive. I remember thinking it was a little too left and like kind of stalling out. And then Gannon's drive went more right, which you want to be a little more left because the angle into the green is a little better because you can just hyzer in, where Gannon, it's a little scary to go straight at it, and because there's OB right, there's OB short, a lot of OB. But fortunately, Rick had to go first because Gannon was a little further. And then Rick just...
No, Ben.
I'm still here, so I'll just keep talking. And then eventually, Rick goes and it's just this super high shot, just stalling in the air. And I knew it was short, and it was short. And so ever since it was short, Gannon wasn't going to go for it regardless. I think he would have gone for it. Obviously, he was parked, but he just wanted to play his game, and it was like it was too windy. We were like 400 feet out. It was too touchy shot. He would have to do what he did that round on the first hole, and just like pipe it super straight and have it turn at the end, which is a super touchy shot. So he just lays it up. We thought Ricky had a 30-footer, and then we show up to the to like the spot, and we're like, wait, is that his spot? And lo and behold, it was a spot. So this is where the I guess controversy comes, because there wasn't an official spotter on that hole.
So y'all thought he was closer or farther?
He thought he was closer. A lot, like people on the right side were saying like he crossed close to the basket, and then people on the far side were saying it wasn't even close. So it was a bunch of people just like, saying the spotter didn't really have a good angle because he was on the other side of the green or something like that. So we had no idea exactly where he crossed, because there's no official spotter, and I know that's like a big controversy for like people talking about it, but like that's whatever.
Benefit goes to the player though, no? So shouldn't he have been able to go closer? Or
no, that's not the rule.
Anymore.
Yeah, the rule is the player can persuade, but in the end the card has the final vote, and they don't have a vote, unless it's like, I forget. Maybe I don't think they have a vote, but it might be that they have a vote if it's tied or something.
The player involved can't weigh in, and I think if they try to push too hard to appeal for themselves, they could actually get stroked.
Wow.
I think it's like a courtesy violation.
Wow.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
I know people have their thoughts on that.
So
yeah, that's crazy.
It was just, and it just worked out. But the spot they were gonna give him was right behind the tree. So I don't even know what what, like, he would have got a worse spot. So I think the spot he got was actually in his favor, even like because they were like, oh, like Gannon was like, I could give you like there, and then, but there was a giant sheep blocking. But yeah, it was just like for me personally, it was one of the greatest like back and forth of disc golf I've ever seen. Just like Gannon trying to catch Rick, and then Rick just nailing every 80-footer in his down his or in his grill. That's what I'm trying to say. Down his grill, in his grill, where it was just like, oh, like he can't even catch up strokes. I think he was down 3 with like 6 holes to play or something like that. And then Gannon just barely holding on, trying to hold on, hitting big putts, and then Rick just hitting even bigger putts. So it was just insane. And then just the whole sequence from 16 Gannon getting a stroke, and then 17 him hitting that big putt, and then 18 that over the top, and then 1 just like laying it up for the win was just, I don't know, it was super cool to see, and it was definitely the best win I've ever been a part of, like caddying wise, and so it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that sounds great. It does, I guess, sting a little bit for Rick to, well, he claimed that his second round there, where it was his third, or rather top 3 round of his life that he's ever shot. So it probably would have been special to go on to win, but yeah, I don't think he'll beat himself up too much about that looking back, because that's, I still have to watch it, by the way, but excited to check it out.
Yeah, no, yeah. You can just watch the last 4 holes of the final round, and you'll pretty much get the gist of it. So it was, yeah, just pretty good stuff. Pretty exciting stuff.
I love it. Any closing thoughts on that?
Shout out Rick. Shout out Gannon. 2 great competitors, and very excited to see kind of just like them battle out this year.
So I guess we can just go over to Disc South for a little bit, because this has been just like a huge lead up for so long for, I mean, mostly for Ben, and now you're on the other side of it. You're off doing other stuff. I mean, the event felt even bigger than the previous year, and I know Disc East has a couple of years on Disc South. How was your experience? What did it feel like? People's takeaways were.
Yeah, let's see if I can get the camera back. Okay, I had to do some weird way. I'm my camera's through OBS now. I don't know why that happened. So yeah, it was. I think we had like 800 to 1,000 more attendees at Disc South this year than last year. It was like
huge.
Was it
insane.
Bigger than East as well?
No. Probably
Wow.
a few hundred less, but still, for being the second year and like being kind of like comparable to Disc East, being the Disc East being the OG, it was honestly insane. It was not expected. I was not expecting the attendance to be that big that year, and it's so funny, dude, because in Massachusetts, like, I'd sell tickets like one right away during Christmas, and then it's always like selling tickets. It's like a trickle. It's like, okay, like and then a week before the event, it'll be like consistently ramp up, where it's like a few days before, it's like I'm selling a lot of tickets. In Texas, I wasn't selling any tickets, like, for where I was expecting it to be, like that, like 5 days before, 4 days before, 3 days before. I'm like, yo, what? Like, did I pick the worst spot in the world to bring an expo? Like, I've never experienced this, and
I can confirm, because a week leading up to the event, I was with Ben, and I was talking about Austin disc golf, and Ben, like, his whole like personality changed. He went business mode, and he was like, "So is Austin better community? Like, what?
Yeah,
what's
like,
Austin like? Like,
there?
would
Yeah,
there be more people come to the expo? Like, blah 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 blah." And you know, in the moment, he wasn't like super forthright with. He was worried about performance of Disc South, but Looking back on it now, I'm like, oh, Ben was like, oh, should we pivot to Austin next year?
Panic.
No, literally, like so it still would have broke the attendance record and still would have had it for what the ticket sales were, and I basically at that time I already sold more tickets than like all of last year, but it was still like, you know, I it just like it was just weird how it wasn't like 3 days before. Normally
Ramping
there's like
up.
hundreds of people buying tickets, and I think at Disc South there was like, you know, less than 100 like 3 days before. It was just a weird thing. But the reason I mentioned that is because day of was the most tickets the day before and day of was the most tickets I've ever sold online. So that's one thing I've noticed. You Texans, you treat Disc South like a flex start, like, oh, like maybe I should sign up. Like that's what
I don't
noticed
know
about flex starts there is that like no one signs up, and then like there'll be 5 people sign up, and then by the end of the day there's 70 people signed up. It's crazy.
I don't know what it's like up in Massachusetts, but for tournaments specifically in Texas, it's like, I don't know. Most people do not sign up for flex starts and regular tournaments till like a day or two before.
Yeah.
Like there are a few tournaments where like it's just like super sought after to be in the tournament. Period.
Yeah, there's a few.
So
yeah.
like people sign up super duper early and they sell out and whatever. Like, you know, Waco's one of those. Like just because it's Waco, but there's a handful of other ones. But for the most part, like literally almost every tournament is like, oh, there's 5 people, and then 2 days before it's completely full. And so I'm not surprised that it's kind of the same for Disc South. Because I think it's also one of those things where like, you know, unfortunately, maybe if the weather was not good or something else popped up, like people might have not came, you know, like that. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. But I think now that it's South Sash, I don't think people are gonna miss it, even if the weather is good. The weather definitely helped me Saturday. It was just just so funny. Just now I know what to expect in that essence. But like, yeah, it was just like. It was like very slow ticket sales. Like I had a lot of ticket sales, but just very slow. So it was just like very unexpected. But that's the reason I mentioned that is just like how floored I was when like it was the day of and how many people showed up, and it was packed. Like the Saturday morning VIP was packed, and then bringing in general admission. That there was a line probably for like an hour of just
I heard
people just trickling in.
I heard you had to sell like just early access passes to people.
That's a little different. I only had to do that because I didn't get enough MVP discs. It wasn't like I sold way more than Disc East. It was just more so that I wasn't able to get nearly enough MVP discs as I wanted to. So I was just like, okay, like, you know, getting in early means a lot to people. I don't want to just like limit it to like just a few people. So I just, and then I sold like a bunch of early access. So I hope like next year I have enough for anyone that wants one and I have left over. But yeah, that was just like kind of like just a weird thing, and where I was like, dang, I'm a week out and we're already sold out of VIP. Like you know, that's crazy. So, but yeah, it was just I just didn't have enough discs. That's really what happened.
Did you know how early did you know MVP wasn't gonna come? Like, was this something you've been planning for,
it was the Friday before, wasn't it?
I don't. It was at least a week or shorter before. I don't really hold on. I can just check real quick. Just give me, because I don't want to like misspeak.
Yeah, totally.
No, it definitely. I think I said this last year, but it definitely feels like the Dallas scene balls out for disc golf.
Dude,
like you can
so
feel it there,
good.
and I could even feel the difference. Just seeing the number of people that were, well, at least for us personally, for like the another round stuff. A year ago is when they opened up their shop.
Yeah.
And then just to see the work that they've put in the local community, and just seeing like some of the merch there, it was cool just to see like it's happening. You know, like these
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
put their trust in the brand, and it's turning into something.
Yeah, and I love how close another round Dallas was, and how they're doing after parties and stuff like that. So that's super cool to me. That like they can kind of get some traffic around the event. So I thought, and Ricky showed up to the shop, so that was super cool.
Yeah, you heard that? Yeah, the Friday night
Yeah.
before it started, Rick, they didn't even know he was showing up. Rick just came by.
Yeah.
I think they normally close at like, I don't know, let's say like 9 o'clock or something, and they kept it open. I think Andrew. So it's co-owned between Russell and Andrew.
Yeah. Yep.
Andrew left at like midnight, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't stay here any longer." So Russell,
Is that the
Hey, guys.
tornado warning?
there's potential for a tornado coming through, and any viewers may have seen that the lights flickered in our house right now. So
Oh no.
we'll keep that in mind.
We have a literal shelter tornado warning right now.
I may have to leave.
Yeah. If that's 100%.
Yeah,
Whatever
if
you need
to leave,
do.
you need
If
to leave.
Shelter in place.
Boys, appreciate everyone sticking around. I have a shelter warning right now, so I should probably
Oh my
do that.
gosh. Yeah, you should definitely. You
Yeah.
have a basement to go to?
No, this is North Carolina. I'll be good. Bye,
Okay.
y'all.
All right.
Wish me luck.
Yes.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Sajko. Thanks for coming.
Everyone wish Sajko luck. That's crazy.
That is
yeah,
crazy.
I forgot that they're getting walloped. What was I? Oh yeah, MVP.
We asked about yeah.
Yeah, it was like I checked. It was exactly a week before,
Dang.
and so yeah, the had every intention of them coming. It was just yeah, they just were, with the Big Easy and they just weren't able to make it happen this year because of just like one of their main event employees, Donnie, who was a legend, who basically that's what they said. If Donnie, he got a great opportunity and got hired somewhere else. And,
Oh,
he's taking
wow.
over his
He
know
he
Donnie?
left. He left MVP.
So yeah, he's taking over his dad's car wash business. So and that was only a month ago.
Wow.
So
that's a pretty valid reason.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. It was just it's like we could vend, but they would have to split one guy between Big Izzy and MVP Open and MVP and Disc South. And I 100% respect their decision. I think the
Yeah,
choice
super valid.
is super easy. Do you go to Disc South or the event? You're literally the title, the name of the MVP Open or the MVP presents Big Easy Open.
Hearing that definitely gives me a lot more respect for their decision. But to me, I kind of thought that it was just I don't know. I thought their decision was motivated by other reasons. That's
No.
oh, okay. That makes a ton of sense. You guys are kind of in a weird spot. I thought that with the stasis being announced or kind of released, a week or two before, I was like,
Yeah.
why not drop the stasis at Disc South? They would literally have another line for 8 miles.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't know. My opinion is MVP's great. They do a lot of great things for the sport, and the hype is obviously super huge around them. But I believe that Disc South was better because they weren't there. And that's no hate to MVP.
No,
That's
yeah.
just because, I was at Disc East and I was at Disc South. And at Disc East, they had a line where people were waiting in it for 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it was just a situation where, I talked to so many people who waited in that line, and it was kind of just you spent all your money at MVP, and, you got what you wanted, and you kind of took a peek around, and you left. The Expo, honestly, there was peoples that made whole weekends and whole days out of it, but at the end of the day, some people kind of just want to mosey around for an hour or two and head home. And so
Yeah.
when you have a line that lasts for 2 to 3 hours, and then you get to meet Simon, Silva. Wait, was Silva there? I don't think she was.
No.
Simon, Silas, Paul, Landon Brooks, all of the MVP pros, get some cool discs, spend $150. It's kind of you don't really want to see anything else, you know? And at Disc South, you know, there was lines for certain booths and whatever, but it was like, yeah, you maybe wait 5, 10, 15 minutes and then you can move on to the next one. It was a little bit of a bigger venue, or maybe there was like a little bit less vendors, and so it just felt like there was a little bit more space as well. And so, like, you know, I want MVP to come to all of your expos, but like
They will.
if we
Like,
can,
from now on, they 100%
yeah,
will.
but
It
like,
was just, it was
yeah.
just literally logistical, just business. Like, I 100% understand. Like, they want to give a good product to people, and they don't.
I think,
you know.
I'm sure you're already considering this or have thought about it, but I almost think you need to like put them in a bad spot, like put them in the like least focal, like back right corner, because like
Because they're gonna,
they're gonna get everyone's gonna go check them out regardless. Like, they don't need to be in the good spot, and
I
like
already
they
do
almost
that. Yeah, I already put them in like like kind of like I both at Disc East and Disc South. Like, I don't think there's really any bad spots once now that we're all in the same room.
not. Yeah,
But I definitely put them as far away from the entrance as I can, just to like not clog up anything.
yeah. I'm sure you've thought about this, but I almost think you need to like, I don't know, like they need to have like stanchions or something to have a line, or like literally like, you know, Disc Southwise, put them in the back right corner where the putting thing was. Like, genuinely, like, not only were people waiting hours, but it was just so clogged at Disc East with the line.
Disc
that
East, I
it
have
was
to
like,
figure out more.
yeah, like it was just like people, yeah, it was just hard to get through places, and I think it has more of effect than people think on like checking out stuff and going to booths and enjoying your time at Disc East. Like, it kind of stinks to wait for that long, you know. Like, you maybe almost need to have like a conversation with MVP and say like, hey, is there any way, like, what if they did 2 single booths, you know, or something like that, where it's like they can vend at both, and maybe they have a pro at both, but then I guess maybe people would wait.
Yeah,
in
that'd
both
be
lines.
too. Yeah, that'd be so much more clogged. But that's, you bring up a good example, because MVP had, I think, 5 employees working the booth at Disc East, and the line was 2 to 3 hours. Like,
Yeah.
imagine at Disc South if they only had one guy just trying to run the whole shebang.
They would have been
So,
cooked.
yeah, it was just like, you know, it was unfortunate, but like, MVP has been there since the beginning.
For sure.
One of the only manufacturers that ever went to the first Northeast Disc Golf Expo was hit them in Thaw Space. And Thaw Space is from Maine, so MVP was like traveled out, and they always give me like the coolest exclusive VIP disc, and just, you know, the guys are awesome, and they've treated me
Everything I'm
very
saying
well.
is no hate to MVP. Like,
no, I know. I'm more so saying it just for like the public, like, like why MVP wasn't there. It was just like, you know, it was a unfortunate
situation.
Just it's just nothing. But I will say, I know that the MVP line, like, or whatever it might, but I think I noticed this last year. I think just people spend more money in the Dallas area, like for Disc South. Last year there was a lot more like per sale, like the average price per sale last year. And I think it was just like, even though MVP that might have had to do with it, but I think truly it's just like people just spend a lot more in that area, because that's a trend we noticed last year, and that's a trend we noticed this year, and MVP was there last year. So we'll have to see at least the third year what it's like once
I definitely agree with you. Like, I don't think the only factor for everyone doing like way better at Disc South is that MVP wasn't there, but I think it was a big factor. Because, you know, compare just this year from Disc East to Disc South, like literally everyone was like, oh yeah, it's just like not even comparable how many people came by the booth and how many discs they sold, you know. So what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something.
Wait, comparable? You said comparable from Disc East last year to Disc South this year, or
Disc East this year to Disc South this year. And there's a bunch of reasons for that because, like, you know, we literally had the snowstorm at Disc East, so like,
yeah,
I feel like there were so many people that just didn't come because of that. And yeah, so all those reasons. Oh, what I was gonna say is to cut MVP a little bit of slack. I heard that when they had the long line at Disc East, part of the issue was that their machines were broken or something for a little while.
Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly. But, yeah, I mean, it's a good problem to have. Like, yeah. They're, it's just like, you know, if you come to Disc East or Disc South, you're just going to expect to win the line because, you know, MVP's super in demand. That they've done this golf marketing correct, and like, I don't know, kudos to them. I think it's just like one of those, I guess, growing pains where it's like, you know, it's just like what it is. If you have the most sought after, hyped up release and one of the disc golf's favorite pros, it's just like that's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah, something really interesting to think about is like disc golf isn't big right now. And we're still kind of having some of these issues. Like, how do we, like, when it explodes, inevitably, that's my belief, what happens, you know? Like, it seems like MVP's doing a good job of figuring out how to set up infrastructure, and they just kind of, like, take the time to figure things out, which I have a lot of respect for. So I feel like they'll be set up really well for, like, when disc golf explodes. But a lot of other companies are not going to be set up well. Like at Gyropalooza, it was the same issue. Like the lines were just hours. And they literally were like, oh, yeah. Like they commented on my video and were like, yeah, we're trying to figure out the line issue, you know? And like I'm certain next year they'll at least have something in place that makes it a little bit better. And they'll keep trying to figure it out. And I assume they'll probably try to implement something similar for Disc East and Disc South, knowing that they have a line that long, you know? But, like, if that happens to everyone else, like, you know, I don't know. Like, I guess we just deal with the long line.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. For that to happen, we need, like you said, for that to happen to multiple booths, like, for that long, it would just be an explosion in disc golf, which would be a good thing. But, you know, if it were that case at that point, you know, we'd figure something out, or like the companies would figure something out, like send more employees. But right now, it's kind of like every major manufacturer only has like a few employees that are like actively like the ones that are like out there going to events and stuff. It's not very right now in disc golf. It's just not something that most companies like kind of like allocate towards, if that makes sense. Like most of them just send like they're like finance guy or something like that, you know, where there's not really events people, which makes sense. There's only 2 disc golf expos, so it
pending next year.
Pending. How's your Disc South experience now? Because you've been to both, so.
Yeah, I feel like I'm sure people can kind of guess my take. I'm not putting a lot of weight in my opinion just because of the snow and MVP was there versus not there here. And I'm also from this area, but like my Disc East experience versus my Disc South experience was like everyone go to Disc South because it's just not even comparable. Like the vibes were just way higher and it was a lot more fun. But that was just because, I don't know, like there was just a ton of factors. And I had a blast at both of them, but Disc South was like way better.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like which I don't mind. Like they're both like, you know, I want Disc South to get love. I think it deserves it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like not comparing it, just like your experience just at this. Like you say it was hype. Just like what was like great about it versus last year's.
Yeah. Every time someone asks me why I like the Disc Golf Expos, my answer is always the same. It's like one of the only situations where like you're in a room full of people who will understand what understable and overstable mean, or why it's so cool
funny
that Gannon made that putt on 17 or whatever. Like most times you like you just can't have a conversation with a random person about disc golf. But you're in the disc golf expo room, you could walk up to anyone and talk about 2015 Paul Macbeth, and they'd probably understand, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool because for the most part, like when people are into disc golf, you're either kind of just there casually, or you got into it in college and go sometimes, or you're kind of just like the deepest you can be, like as deep as it gets. And especially if someone's at the expo, they're probably as deep as it gets. So it's super fun
Yeah.
to be surrounded by a community of people who are interested in something you're passionate about. And especially at Disc South, like, you know, if you don't have disc golf friends in DFW, go to Disc South and make some disc golf friends that live in DFW. It's like kind of the easiest place to do that. And so, like I always say, it's just a really fun way to interact with your favorite pros, interact with your favorite content creators, make some friends, talk to some people that are passionate about disc golf. And it's a fun way to, I don't know, it's just a fun weekend because there's events surrounding it. And it's also a situation where, like, if you're a fan, like, you can just hang out with me, hang out with pros. Like, we're just there. And especially on Sunday, like, there's really typically not a ton going on Sunday in terms of, like, who's there. And so if you just want to chat with someone, just go chat with them or ask them questions or whatever. But yeah, I had a blast at Disc South. And then, like, in terms of sales, like, I literally sold out of all of my discs, which was insane. And I had a line for a little while.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nuts and pretty affirming. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Great job.
No. Thank
Good
you.
stuff.
Yeah, I was, like I said, super pleased with how it went and how Disc South was. And now I think you have to go to both now. I don't think Disc South is the little brother of Disc East, like
No.
like people were saying. I think it's its own beast, and I think, you know, there's a benefit to both. But and I think if you should experience both, and you'll get a sort of a different experience at both.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. But I don't know. I think that's a pod right there, if I'm completely honest.
No, yeah, I'm good. I'm down to go back to bed. Very excited about that. Very exhausting weekend. So yeah. Shout out everyone for listening. Sajko, hope you're doing well. I'd imagine you are, but definitely scary to get a sheltered place when you're in North Carolina. But I don't know if they get a lot of tornadoes. Maybe, but
Funsie.
bye.